Welcome back to Joy News today. Let's talk about the downpour today from last night, and parts of Accra have already been flooded after last night and this morning's rains. Piles of garbage have surfaced and traffic has been terrible this morning in parts of the capital. Now, the rains don't look like they will be going anytime soon, but Michaela Anderson hit the streets after the rain subsided a bit this morning.
This pool of water right behind me was obviously gathered from last night's rain, and this is causing a heavy traffic on the Tesano Road, especially from the Ghana Technology University College through to the Achimota overhead at Penkwa Junction. From my interaction with people, this portion of the road is a flood-prone area, and so whenever it rains, this section of the road gets flooded. What is happening this morning is that vehicles coming from the Achimota overhead section are stuck in heavy traffic. The vehicles are moving steadily so they do not damage their cars. This is a 3-lane road, but because of the situation right now, it's been turned into a 2-lane.
This problem have been there. They try to distill it, but every time it rains, this is the problem that we have here. It will be here about 3, 4, 5 hours before you see that everything is okay, but it has been any time it rains.
How many years now?
Oh, since the construction from about 10 years ago. Yeah.
So nothing has been done to rectify it?
They come around to distill the water. They say water they buy. One thing is, since the problem is from the construction of the road.
City authorities are advised to move to the scene quickly to address the situation.
Michaela Anderson also reports a lot of garbage has been washed onto the streets.
Ugly sight on the Tesano Road is the amount of rubbish which have been washed onto the street because of last night's rain. Pieces of food, polythene bags, sachet water rubbers have all been washed onto the street, a situation residents are not happy about. They want city authorities to immediately move in to clear the field.
With a little rainfall, maybe 7 minutes, 10 minutes rainfall, you see this kind of situation. And the main problem is that there is a main drainage from this side of the road. We should have used, the water should have, used it through the underground. But because the whole place is choked, all the floods coming from Harvard College through Kruger Branch security area cannot go through the drain. For that matter, they all come on the way to the street and then find its way here. Especially at the Total filling station here. Every time there's rainfall, these guys will have to stand in with their Wellington boots, cleaning the fields and the desks all over. I want immediate action plan by the AMA, because this is supposed to be done by the AMA or the Zoom Lion guys. And the last time I saw them here was about 3 months ago, after the June 3rd floods or something.
And it's still raining. We'll keep our eyes on that story. But in other news, the Association of Sachet and Bottled Water Producers is angry at the Ghana Revenue Authority for imposing tax on sachet water. The association believes it is unfair for VAT to be imposed on water, which is consumed by everyone, while equipment for mining are exempted from the VAT tax.
So with this VAT, you're saying that if I were to buy sachet in traffic, yeah, I would buy it for how much?
You mean
if I buy the water, yes.
With the VAT on, it's going to go to 22 pesos, approximately.
But it's even hard. There won't be change.
That is the problem.
So in effect, you buy it for
maybe 25.
25 pesos.
Maybe 25. Where are you going to get the 1 peso change and all? And then also, even the mode of collection. How are we going to collect the VAT? Assuming in my factory or anybody's factory, you load 300 bags or 500 bags on a truck and you are going out. We sell by the bag, and somebody says I want to buy 1 bag. So he's buying 1 bag, then I take a VAT receipt and then I issue a VAT receipt to that person. It will mean that I may have to carry about 2 booklets of the VAT on every trip that I do. Because if somebody is buying 1 bag, 2 bags, whatever, I have to issue VAT receipt. Cumbersome.
Are the consumers complaining about this?
They will complain. Look, nobody knows. That's the point. Nobody knows. I'm saying that even MPs are not aware. The MPs who pass the law are not aware. Okay. Yesterday I spoke to one MP. She was shocked that how could Parliament, so the thing has been done, the blind side of everybody.
So hang on, what's your issue? Is it the fact that you were not consulted, or the fact that you think it will make water too expensive?
Our basic issue, the number one issue, is that don't put VAT on something that will hurt the poor, the average Ghanaian. Don't put VAT. Don't go there. It's a no. We think it's a no-go area. You go there, you are disturbing the system too much, because there are too many people in the system. If I were to go through some of these things and tell you some of the groups which are exempt. Yes, you see, you'll be surprised. A supply of machinery and parts, this also exempt. A supply of machinery and parts of machinery specifically designed for use in the following activities: agriculture, mining, as specified in the mining list, manufacturing, railway. And if you are not putting VAT on machinery meant for mining, you are exempting that.
But you want to put it on
and you
water?
Want to put it on sachet water? How does it sound in your ears?
Interesting question. Professor Audrey Gattaca is recommending to media owners to build the capacity of journalists. Professor Gattaca says a knowledgeable media will spur the country's development by holding persons in positions of power accountable. She was speaking at an event to mark the first anniversary of pressure group Occupy Ghana.
It's been a year since pressure group Occupy Ghana was formed. From picketing at the Flagstaff House to introducing Red Friday, the group seems to have chalked a number of successes, as leading member Ace Ankuma catalogues.
Occupy Ghana stood out boldly when rumors and whispers began that Ghana was going to host camp 2015. We did not hold back. We stated clearly that we do not think that we were ready for it. A chorus of voices joined, the government backed down. Subsequently, we read on BBC that actually there had been an agreement to host it, and it was because people like you and I rose up to occupy our democratic space that we backed out of doing that. So that, listen, this is the point. As long as we stare hard and long enough at a politician, he or she is going to blink first.
Also at the event was media and communications professor Audrey Gattaca, who took a swipe at the media for failing to stand for their rights. She says corruption is thriving because owners of media houses have failed to build the capacity of their journalists to fight the canker.
Ghana is not typically thought of as a country in which journalists generally fear for their lives. However, there have been a number of incidences in the recent past that suggest attacks on journalists are on the increase. Just last month, it was reported that a Brong-Ahafo regional correspondent for Peace FM was shot at close range by unidentified men on his way from Sankore, where he's said to have been following up on grievances reported by some cocoa farmers over stolen fertilizers. Last year, Media Foundation for West Africa circulated a press release chronicling more than 10 attacks on journalists since the beginning of the year. 6 of the attacks were by police and military personnel acting on their own volition or on the orders of officialdom. But perhaps what I find most disconcerting about this state of affairs is the media's own inability to defend itself against such attacks. The management of media, the media owners, the boards of directors, and even the editors. They wield more power than the young journalists covering the story. And so they have a primary responsibility to invest in bringing about change within our society by investing in first the human resources that they have hired.
The group says it will push for the passing of the Right to Information Bill into law, adding this will allow for transparency and accountability from the politicians.
Let's talk about the NDC primaries, and Kwete Nate, my colleague, is at the regional office here in Accra, monitoring events. Kwete, good afternoon to you. What can you tell us?
Francisca, the vetting is still ongoing. The committee is vetting candidates from 11 constituencies. We are looking at Ablekuma South, Shao Sidoku, Dome, Adenta, Ledokuku. I must say the mayor of Accra was here a few hours ago. He has been cleared. There are others like Dr. Mike White, who is hoping to contest the Shao Sidoku seat. Is also here. We have Malam Issa, Ashimore, they've all been cleared to contest their dental seats. So far, the vetting is still ongoing.
Okay, Kwete. And have there been any controversies or any interesting activities?
There haven't been any controversy. There have not been any disqualification. I was just interviewing Malam Issa a while ago, whether his issue of his conviction came up, but he told me that that did not come up. In fact, he had with him the Constitution to defend why he should be allowed to contest on the ticket of the NDC despite his past conviction.
Okay, that's Kwete Nati from the NDC regional office here in Accra. And we'll keep our eyes on other stories as well. This is Joy News. Today I'm Francisca Kakwafo. So take a quick break. Welcome back. Let's do business now. Some players in the advertising industry will tomorrow be recognized for being very creative in various marketing campaigns. This will be realized when they gather for the 9th Gong Gong Awards. Now, the awards over the years have been the benchmark for rewarding excellence, creativity, and outstanding innovation across sectors of the industry.
Yes, we're going to honor one Professor A.H.O. Mensah, who's one of the early members of the Advertising Association of Ghana, one of the founding secretary, and he is in his 80s now, and he's paid his dues for the advertising industry in Ghana. And so we think that is an opportunity for us to honor him with a lifetime achievement. Actually, he still lectures in some universities around the country still. And so we also will be honoring Honorable Fitz Bafo, who was a former Minister of Information and Media Relations, who was also an advertising practitioner. He was a member of the association for so many years before he went into politics. We think that he has distinguished himself and contributed to our industry tremendously, and so we're also going to take opportunity to give him the Lifetime Achievement Award. And then we have Mr. Reginald Laye, Chief Executive of MMRS, who has been also one of the torchbearers of putting Advertising Association of Ghana on the international scene. As a member of the International Advertising Association Board, he was the first Ghanaian to be on that board, and basically brought us into limelight. And so we're very excited about that. And then Mrs. Nokodia, who was also Vice President for Africa International Advertising Association, and the first woman to be President of the Advertising Association of Ghana, who was very instrumental and played a lead role in bringing the African Rising Conference to Accra for the first time in so many years in Africa. And so we are honoring these people who has played major roles in the advertising industry, and also in the fact that they have also trained a lot of talent, a lot of other people in the advertising industry. And we think that at least on occasions like this, we need to also recognize these people that are still around with us to inspire the younger generations to greater heights.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
The National Pensions Regulatory Authority, NPRA, has given hint of its intention to compel private sector establishments to operate the second tier or tier 2 pension scheme. Out of 51,466 private establishments which are active under the SNIT scheme, only 10,610 have registered under the tier 2. Director of Regulations at the NPRA, Ernest Amate Vondi, announced at an organized labor leadership forum in Accra yesterday that the NPRA's main strategy is to distribute the 40,344 employers without schemes, EWS, through ballot. Now, thereafter, the EWS will be allocated to corporate trustees based on the ballot. Government's decision to go ahead and raise the Eurobond could negatively affect businesses. There are concerns the move will increase lending rates and also cost of doing business. Chief Executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, tells Joy Business government must work hard to stabilize the economy so the rates can come down.
Bond is one that possibly we have to make sure that if we can speed up, things improve and our servicing can be increased to reduce up. Having, 10+ rate for 15 years. There's a lot of weight that is going to be coming to call on us to service down the road, which we have to be cognizant of and plan for it. So the rate itself coming down from the projected 11 that was being demanded is a plus. The being able to realize the 1 billion should be put to prudent use. And then so far as concerned, it's because it's going to be paid back, and it's going to be paid back at that rate. And, you know, for the next 15 years with a moratorium of a few years. So we have to be really planning as to the prudent use of the resources that were obtained.
Okay.
Additional $1 of borrowing it would impact on what we do. But this is where we find ourselves, that we are depending on not only homegrown, internally generated funding, we're depending on outside borrowers. So if we have to, and we gone that route, then we should be able to use it prudently and make sure that it has a rewarding and returning impact that can allow us to service the loan in the future.
All right, and finally,
that's it for business. Sports is coming up in a bit. Good afternoon, my name is Baba Tanda. Let's talk sports right here, right now. Dethroned Central Regional Football Association Chairman emmanuel.atani has described the electoral process that saw his contender Roy Arthur elected as the new chairman of the Central Regional Football Association as null and void. Arthur, former CEO of VA United, secured 26 votes to beat Mr. Doe, who had 24 votes of the total votes cast. Now, Doe was seeking for an 8th term in office to represent the region on the GFA's executive committee, but he says the electoral process was not properly done.
The whole thing was not well done, because the same people who nominated me, you see, also nominated Roy Arthur. So for you, I never saw the form until this morning. Okay. I never saw the form, and I even accosted the election committee chairman that it is improper for somebody to fight in Accra when the election is conducted in Cape Coast. It's improper for somebody to go into an election not knowing the detail of documents submitted by a candidate for that election. It's not a worthy winner. It doesn't mean it should necessarily be Mr. Doe, but Roy is not qualified. If it means some other person coming, I have no problem. But we must maintain the sanctity of our regulations.
So what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm consulting my legal team to see.
Now, emmanuel.atani blames the GFA's election committee for his shocking defeat.
Itself was fraught with all manner of irregularities. Ogwa United, a member of the association, wrote to the Football Association, and the association never had, the courtesy to even respond to his letter. He followed it up again, and nothing came. It was even said that the report of the election committee, after they had vetted the members, was submitted to the FA. One would have thought that, for sake of transparency, all letters that come to us are mailed through our mail address at the RFA. Nothing of that sort came.
Now, already, emmanuel.atani has hinted he will go to court, but newly elected Roy Arthur tells Joy Sports he doesn't care much.
For Central Region, our challenges has been grassroots football, sponsorships, running of today. Affairs in football has been so appalling. I'm going to ensure that grassroots football is put in place well, because those are the bases. Because the GFA, relies so much on the RFAs to know that the FA is run well. So we are saying that we are ready to put things in place to be able to make them comfortable in their jobs. It's an association. No one is going to impose. We discuss hand to hand, and then the best solution, we bring it on board, and then we can implement it.
Latest in entertainment news, Ms. G is in the studio.
Hi.
Looking all African.
Oh, yeah.
You should have told me. I would have worn a dress too.
But you did yesterday. I didn't wear an African dress yesterday, but I love your beats, you know.
Thank you. I love your dress. Tell us what's happening. You're going to talk about Black Rasta?
Exactly.
What about him?
You know, Black Rasta has been talking about the fact that he has a new perception about Christianity. He says that he's Muslim. I don't know if you know that he's Muslim. That. And he says that he believes in the Christ. Christians believe in Christ.
So he's relinquishing his
Muslim? In the Christ. And no. And what he's saying is that, you know, he thinks that over the years he's attacked prophets wrongly, and he decides that, okay, now he sees them more as men that are being used by God. But away from that, we've been finding out from him, he's off radio for about 2 months. What has he been doing? He says he takes it as a vacation and a leave because he's reading more.
Good for him.
Being off radio has been the best decision I've taken.
Would you ever go back to radio?
Of course. I mean, for now, it's almost like I'm having a leave. This is the 2nd month or so. I resigned on the 6th of July, yes. So, like, yeah, 2nd month is going to 3rd month. I mean, so for me, it's almost like a leave. And the kind of inspiration I'm getting, the kind of enjoyment, I'm getting the time to read more books, shoot more videos, sing of my songs, trying to release my new album again. And it's just been wonderful. If I have missed radio, then it's just about the fans. Saying it's about the fans who keep asking me, when are you coming on radio? It's like, since Black Rasta got off radio, reggae music has been in a sorry state.
That's it for Joy News today. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. I'm Francisca Kakapos, and thank you very much for your company.